Ministry of Information and Communications, Vietnam, Department of Telecommunications, Government of India, members of Telecom Equipment and Services Export Promotion Council, DEPC, and Vietnam ICT Investment Forum, esteemed members of the panel, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege for me to have been bestowed upon this opportunity to be a part of this prestigious and established forum that is India ASEAN ICT Expo 2018. On behalf of Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT, the Telecom R&D Center of the Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications, Government of India, I extend our sincere thanks and heartfelt gratitude to DEPC and Vietnam ICT Investment Forum for extending us an invitation to be a part of India ASEAN ICT Expo 2018. Before I set forth the R&D initiatives taken by my organization, that is CDOT, for implementing the smart city projects in India, and also for building the smart networks that are required for implementing the smart city project in any country, let us have a quick glimpse of what the Smart City Project of India is all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Smart City mission of the project, Smart City Project of Government of India, is a very ambitious project. Our government intends to build 100 smart cities across the length and breadth of the country. And when we talk about India, there are different cities varying from metropolitans to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, which are very distinct in terms of geography, in terms of demography, in terms of the technological advancements. So each city has quite a distinct flavor. So our purpose was to have a development that caters to the distinctness of each city that comes along with the diversity. And when I talk about this diversity, when this concept was there in India, then the focus was inviting the stakeholders from different cities in an open challenge. So our main purpose was to have the area-based development, wherein we focused on three important aspects. The one was the city improvement, that basically focuses on retrofitting. When we say the retrofitting, that means what we have in the city should be judiciously utilized. We wanted to have the optimal utilization of the resources. The second challenge was the city renewal, that is the redevelopment. If I see the example of Hanoi, you can see there are the clustered spaces. So to bring out the technological development there is a big challenge. So our purpose was to have the development in a way that the city renewal does not compromise the heritage, the culture, the legacy of a city. And our third focus was on the city extension. We wanted to have a greenfield development. Our mission was not only focused to building smart cities, we wanted to reap the dividends of the development that are happening in the area of smart cities to smart towns, to smart villages as well. Because that is what is the real agenda. A lot of our population resides in the villages and small towns, which are not technologically advanced in comparison to metropolitans. So our purpose was to extend the benefits of the smart city project to villages and towns alike. And of course, you all agree with me that a smart city cannot be made unless we have smart people. You can have the technology, but unless people are able to comprehend the technology, to appreciate the technology and its applications, we cannot build smart cities. So our focus was to have more and more mobile-based tools so that people can access the benefits of the technology on their mobile phones. And the second was to involve more and more number of people in this smart city. Smart city is to be made of smart people, the residents of the city. So our agenda was to have more and more people be a part of this mission. And we wanted to extend it to suburbs and villages. So if I talk about the ICT, building the smart networks is definitely a challenge for certain cities. We agree that every continent, every city has a different requirement. If we compare European cities and American cities with the Asian cities, the geography is very much different. The technological advancement that has taken place in the cities in Americas and Europe are again different. So our focus was to have that specific development that caters to the requirements of these villages, of these cities in Asian continent. For that, what we did, our emphasis was on digital literacy and digital empowerment. Like Vietnam and several other Southeast Asian nations, India too has a number of languages that are spoken, along with many dialects, and the literacy levels are different. People are not that proficient in English everywhere. So our purpose was to build the content in the local languages. That is what was required for implementing the digital literacy. That was one of the important missions of the smart cities in India. We wanted to have the universal digital empowerment because we wanted more and more people to participate in the smart city project. So our purpose was to have the digital literacy. We have made some R&D initiatives to implement digital literacy, to develop the tools that can provide you the information in the local languages. I'll talk about them later. Before I move further, I'll also talk about the green technologies. As we all know that the world is reeling under the environmental disasters, pollution, climate change, all these are the big problems. So even when we talk about technology, our prime focus should be on the development of green technologies. Very quickly, I'll just take you through some of the R&D initiatives of CDOT. So if I talk about my organization, we are very diverse in our telecom portfolio. We develop wireless products, we develop products in switching, optical communications, security, network services, and the latest fields like the Internet of Things, machine-to-machine communications, deep learning, big data, and any other software application that is to do with building the communications infrastructure. So ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the model that shows the deployment of different kinds of technology in an ideal smart city network. I can show that we have the technologies available from the core network to the edge network and to the access network to the mobile-based tools. I'll just come to these technologies one by one. So I'll first talk about how we have implemented the digital literacy and brought about the digital empowerment in the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you one problem in India. While we were surveying the villages, we found that people were not proficient in English. And when I talk about the BharatNet project of the government of India that has given high-speed broadband to every village, every nook and corner of India, then the biggest problem was how to make people utilize the power, the potency of the internet. So our purpose was to make it accessible to one and all in an easy and convenient manner. So this was the application, this was the product that we made, which is called the Gyan Setu, that aims to bridge the digital divide between urban and rural India, literate and illiterates, people who cannot speak English, people who want to have the content in the local languages. The old people, the young people, we wanted it to be accessible to one and all. That is what digital empowerment is all about. In this product, which is based on numerals, we can have a pictorial description. We can have several sections on e-agriculture, e-education, e-health, and several other fields which are going to affect our daily lives in a smart city. And this has a camera which can even scan the QR code and also has the provision for an NFC card. I'll tell you what it does. The people who are old and cannot read and write, for them, it is a boon, actually. If you want to know about the pension and the schemes announced by the government, you'll take your card, you'll show it there, and you'll get the information, not only in the text format, but also in the audio and visual format. So that is how we wanted people to access the information in a confidential, easy, and convenient manner. Just to mention, this product was also lauded by ITU for being one of the greatest innovations from India. So I'll now move further to one of the big buzzwords of the telecom industry these days. We talk about machine-to-machine communications and Internet of Things. Our main purpose was to have a common platform. Reason, I'll tell you, there's going to be one big problem in the world. When there's going to be a proliferation of sensors, the data is going to be humongous. How we are going to manage the data, how we are going to manage the security concerns is a big problem. Because when we have number of sensors, a user doesn't know which information is correct, which is a malicious information, and it is definitely going to lead to a chaos. So our purpose was to avoid this turbulence when there is a world that is recognized with M2M and IoT. So we are a part of the One M2M initiative that is a consortium brought about by several industrial bodies across the world, several governments, several industries, MNCs are part of it, and this aims at the standardization of machine-to-machine communications apps. We have developed several apps for assisted living. So that is the thing. We want to have a common platform. The startups can come, people can contribute to develop apps that can be applicable to all these smart cities. Even when we talk about Vietnam, India, we all have similar kind of problems and concerns. Similar kind of services are required. The government needs to roll out e-services. The electronic gadgets these days are coming with sensors. But how to manage the data is a big task. That is what Internet of Things is all about. The big data analytics that has come into play, again, is based on data privacy. So when we talk about the smart cities connectivity, very quickly, I'll just tell you about some of the applications that we are working on that talk about the smart healthcare, the smart homes, the smart appliances, the smart education, smart security, and all those things. And you know, all this comes at the access part. When we talk about the core part, building a robust communications infrastructure is the imperative. So ladies and gentlemen, if we do not have a big communications infrastructure, a robust communications infrastructure, we can't exploit these technologies. So our main purpose was to have that infrastructure, was to have that paraphernalia of the networks that is required to access M2M and IoT apps. So this is one of the block diagrams, how we are going to implement the smart cities. So this is about the cloud and certain standards that we are following. If I talk on the technology front, this is what we say, that we are not supposed to work in silos. We have to come together to solve this problem of data management. So when I talk about our technologies, I'll talk about the switching technologies. Nowadays, the bandwidth demand is increasing at a rapid pace. And to cater to that, we need to have very high-speed routers, high-capacity routers. Ladies and gentlemen, in our stall at number 33 and number 34, we have displayed some of our technological solutions. There we have our terabit router, and also displaying a multi-terabit router that talks about the different capacities which are required to handle the traffic in a smart city. So a big routing platform, a robust routing platform, is what is required for building a smart network. When we talk about the wireless technologies, nowadays we want Wi-Fi to be accessible to one and all. And when we say Wi-Fi, then we need to have Wi-Fi in a way that it gives you high-speed internet. So for that, we have developed different kind of Wi-Fi terminals. But what is special in our technology? Since India has a very diverse geography, there are a lot of mountainous terrains, a lot of inhospitable areas. So we have developed our technology in such a way that it is ruggedized to work in low power, to work in different kinds of geographies, and also to withstand different kind of climatic variations. So we have ruggedized them in a way that they can withstand rain, they do not require air conditioning, and we have trialed them at very high altitudes in Leh and Ladakh in India, and also in the coastal areas. And these are, because of the security that we have built in these wireless terminals, they even find an application in defense and strategic applications. So this is one of the examples where we are showing our concern towards the green technologies. Our Wi-Fi terminals can be easily run on the solar power. This is one of the pictorial representations of our campus, wherein we are utilizing the solar power to running our Wi-Fi, which are in the open campus, in the ground, and it can withstand rain, and it has perfectly worked in different kind of environments. If I move further, when we talk about BharatNet that extends the high-speed optical fiber to every village in India, we wanted to use it for extending Wi-Fi. So with this long-distance Wi-Fi, we can go up to a few kilometers. We have even tried up to 50 kilometers using the optical fiber in some of the villages in India which are actually very inhospitable. And if we talk about the green power sources that we have developed, we have some green power sources which are based on the most efficient algorithms that are used to power our wireless terminals, our telecom technologies. That is what we require in the villages. And these are some of the software applications that we have developed because our purpose is to bring something holistic to people. So for that, we have developed many Network applications, we have a network management tool which is there on display in our stall. It can manage any kind of network. And currently it is managing the National Optical Fiber Network, that is BharatNet of India. And we have the capability to manage any kind of network with all the features that are there in any network management tool that you found, that are being developed by any company as such. So our network management tool even comes with certain special features to have the carbon footprint monitoring as part of the green technology. And then we have developed a WhatsApp kind of an application which is very secure and is supposed to be rolled out to all the residents in a smart city so that their data is not compromised. And then we are working on some tools based on deep learning. This is a face recognition. I'm not able to show it because I'm running short of time. So there's a face recognition tool that we have developed which is going to be of good help in implementing security in any smart city. So ladies and gentlemen, that was all about the R&D initiatives of CDOT. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aman Singhania, for your presentations. Coming next, I would like to invite Mr. Dang Vu Tuan, Deputy Director General of Department of Information and Communications of Hanoi. We will share some information relating smart city implementation in Hanoi. Mr. Dang Vu Tuan, please.
Kính thưa các đồng chí lãnh đạo của Bộ Thông tin Truyền thông, thưa các bạn quốc tế, kính thưa toàn thể quý vị đại biểu. Hôm nay thì tôi thay mặt cho ngành thông tin truyền thông thành phố Hà Nội xin trình bày cái tham luận về thành phố Hà Nội đã xây dựng chính quyền điện tử của dân, do dân, vì dân và từng bước định hướng tới xây dựng thành phố thông minh. Phần thứ nhất, chúng tôi sẽ nói về những cái thông tin chung về thành phố Hà Nội. Thành phố Hà Nội chúng tôi thì với diện tích là 3.340 cây số vuông, dân số hiện nay là 7,5 triệu người. Tính cả khách vãng lai thì chúng tôi có 10 triệu và xét trên góc độ Việt Nam thì có hai thành phố lớn là thành phố Hà Nội và thành phố Hồ Chí Minh, so với ở cấp độ thế giới là trên 10 triệu dân. Tức là tính là siêu đô thị. Một đô thị thì chúng ta có từ một vài trăm ngàn trở lên là chúng ta cũng tính là đô thị. Thì đấy là một con số mà quý vị cũng sẽ lưu ý. Thành phố chúng tôi có lịch sử hơn 1.000 năm và hiện nay với cái bề dày lịch sử như vậy thì chúng tôi có gần 6.000 những cái di tích lịch sử và văn hóa. Về bộ máy tổ chức cũng như là bộ máy chính quyền và hành chính thì chúng tôi có 27 sở ngành, 30 quận huyện và 584 xã phường. Tôi xin thông tin một số cái thông tin, cái chỉ số về những cái liên quan đến việc làm các cái hệ thống công nghệ thông tin, hay nói ở cái mức độ truyền thông là chúng tôi là xây dựng chính quyền điện tử hay là xây dựng thành phố thông minh. Hiện nay thành phố Hà Nội có khoảng 13 triệu thuê bao di động. Với tổng số là thuê bao Internet khoảng 14 triệu, bao gồm cả 3G, 4G. Tổng số máy tính ở trên địa bàn là 6 triệu cái. Trong đó thì số máy tính trong các cơ quan nhà nước là 31.000. Số người dùng Facebook hiện nay là khoảng 7.000 người, 7 triệu người. Và tỷ lệ người dùng smartphone, nền tảng căn bản cho mobile computing và chúng ta làm smart city cũng như là e-gov là chính là cái nội dung này. Hiện nay chúng tôi có khoảng trên 90% số người dùng điện thoại. Thông tin thứ hai là chúng tôi thông tin về những cái chỉ số về giao thông. Hiện nay chúng tôi có khoảng 600.000 cái ô tô với lại 6 triệu cái xe máy, 30.000 cái xe đạp. Thành phố có khoảng 2 triệu học sinh đi học, khoảng 400.000 sinh viên. Và trong năm 2017 vừa qua thì chúng tôi tiếp đón là 25 triệu lượt khách du lịch và trong đó thì có 5 triệu khách quốc tế. Thưa quý vị, thì tại sao là chúng tôi nêu hoàn toàn là những con số có vẻ là cũng không như là một cái bài phát biểu bởi vì chúng tôi nghĩ đây là một cái hội thảo rất chuyên đề. Các nhà hoạch định chính sách cũng như là các nhà lãnh đạo nếu thực hiện những cái nhiệm vụ trong lĩnh vực này thì phải hiểu vấn đề theo những khía cạnh gắn liền với việc là triển khai các cái hệ thống công nghệ và kỹ thuật. Và đây thực ra là đầu vào của tất cả những cái hệ thống thông tin. Theo quan điểm của chúng tôi ở cấp độ ban đầu và cũng như là thế giới, thì khi giai đoạn ban đầu triển khai thì chúng ta phải thực hiện thành phố thông minh ở cấp độ ban đầu bao giờ cũng là đi xây dựng e-gov, tức là chính quyền điện tử, và triển khai các hệ thống công nghệ thông tin, cung cấp các dịch vụ công trực tuyến cho các tổ chức và công dân. Chính vì vậy mà những con số chúng tôi nêu là gắn liền với các hệ thống thông tin, các hệ thống cơ sở dữ liệu quan trọng. Và chúng tôi cũng đã có lần nói tại cái hội nghị về ICT của ngành, chúng tôi đã nói rất vui. Người Việt Nam hồi xưa thì vẫn có cái câu là để quản lý được thì hãy chú ý đến hai chữ đinh và chữ điền. Không ạ? Đinh là con người và điền là đất đai. Còn hiện nay theo ngôn ngữ công nghệ thông tin thì chúng ta sẽ có là Personal Database và GIS Database, tức là cơ sở dữ liệu về dân cư theo ngôn ngữ của quản lý nhà nước hiện nay, hoặc là khái quát rộng hơn nữa là cơ sở dữ liệu về mã số định danh mà hiện nay là Việt Nam chúng ta đang làm. Đấy. Còn cơ sở dữ liệu về đất đai thì sẽ bao gồm và tác động lên rất nhiều ngành, bắt đầu từ ngành tài nguyên môi trường, ngành xây dựng, ngành quy hoạch kiến trúc, ngành giao thông, ngành du lịch, ngành y tế, ngành giáo dục. Và nếu những người làm chuyên môn thì đều hiểu rằng là chúng ta phải xây dựng một cái bản đồ nền, cơ sở dữ liệu bản đồ nền, và trên đó có tất cả các lớp dữ liệu. Nói thì đơn giản như vậy, nhưng mà một cái bài toán về cơ sở dữ liệu dân cư thì qua một cái thời gian rất là dài, chúng tôi tính là không bằng 1-2 năm, thì Việt Nam hiện nay cũng chỉ có một vài tỉnh mới thực hiện xong. Đấy. Còn chờ được đến cái lúc mà chúng ta có đầy đủ cơ sở dữ liệu dân cư 95 triệu thì cả một cái vấn đề nữa. Đó. Thì đấy là chúng tôi nêu như vậy để thấy là những cái bài toán về quản lý thông tin nó rất là lớn như vậy. Quay lại thì thành phố Hà Nội chúng tôi đã làm gì? Đất nước chúng tôi có một lãnh tụ rất vĩ đại, đấy là Chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh. Chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh đã nêu cái chỉ đạo cũng như là nêu cái quan điểm rất là rõ là nhà nước của chúng tôi là nhà nước của dân, do dân, vì dân, và là nhà nước dân chủ vì nhân dân, lấy phụng sự cái lợi ích của nhân dân. Và tiêu chí quan trọng nhất để đánh giá hiệu quả và năng lực hoạt động của một chính quyền, của một nhà nước là đáp ứng cao nhất những nhu cầu và lợi ích của người dân. Và chúng tôi đã hiểu, đã thấm nhuần những cái tư tưởng chỉ đạo của người. Và trong hiện nay thì thành phố Hà Nội cũng đã thực hiện xây dựng cái chính quyền điện tử, cũng thực hiện theo cái mục tiêu đó, đặt cái mục tiêu cao nhất là phục vụ người dân, là các tổ chức. Đấy là nói về những cái định hướng. Còn về công việc cụ thể thì chúng tôi tập trung vào làm là cung cấp tối đa các dịch vụ công trực tuyến cấp độ cao cho các tổ chức và công dân. Đó. Thì hệ thống công nghệ phải thể hiện được trên cái mục tiêu, thể hiện được trên cái nhiệm vụ. Và nói ở trên cho tính chất hệ thống thì chúng tôi cũng đã rất nhiều lần trao đổi hội nghị ngành ấy, tức là cái kết quả cuối cùng là phải lượng hóa được. Bởi vì đa số công nghệ thông tin nhiều khi cái tính định tính nó cao quá, cái tính truyền thông nó cao quá. Lượng hóa là gì? Dịch vụ công trực tuyến ấy phải kiểm tra được bằng các cái thao tác thực ở trong cơ sở dữ liệu. Đấy mới là cái sự đánh giá được cái tính hiệu quả. Thế thì để làm việc này chúng tôi đã đẩy mạnh xây dựng cái nền hành chính điện tử, triển khai hiệu quả các ứng dụng, các dịch vụ phục vụ các tổ chức, các doanh nghiệp, cũng như là công tác điều hành của toàn bộ cái bộ máy thành phố. Như lúc nãy chúng tôi nêu là trong hệ thống của chúng tôi thì cả công chức viên chức là cũng rất nhiều, hệ thống cán bộ đến mấy vạn người, còn cái sự nghiệp thì còn nhiều nữa. Thế thì cả một cái hệ thống như thế gắn lên cái mạng máy tính thì chúng ta phải hoạt động như thế nào để cung cấp được cho cái dịch vụ công cho người dân là tốt nhất. Thành phố Hà Nội cũng là cái đơn vị có thể nói đầu tiên và tính về quy mô là chúng tôi lớn nhất cả nước, xây dựng xong cái cơ sở dữ liệu về dân cư 7,5 triệu người đang nằm trong máy tính. Có thể nói là nếu mà so với nước ngoài thì chúng ta đi sau, nhưng mà Ở Việt Nam thì thành phố Hà Nội đã làm được cái việc này cũng rất là tốt, và đấy mới là cái nền tảng cơ bản để cung cấp cái dịch vụ công. Dịch vụ công là một công dân đến cơ quan chính quyền qua cái một cửa giao dịch thì phải có những cái hồ sơ, phải có số liệu đối chiếu, thì cái này chính là cái căn bản nhất để chúng tôi thực hiện. Và với cái nền tảng như vậy thì chúng tôi đã cung cấp dịch vụ công trực tuyến mức độ 3, mức độ 4, tức là các cái mức độ cao nhất từ này van tắt. Về mức độ 3 là người dân chỉ giao dịch một lần, đến cơ quan công quyền một lần, trước đó là giao dịch qua mạng. Mức độ 4 là không cần đến cơ quan công quyền nữa, thực hiện hoàn toàn thao tác và tất cả các cái thủ tục giao dịch, rồi nhận kết quả, rồi trả phí nếu có thì qua môi trường mạng. Thì đấy là mức 4. Thì hiện nay chúng tôi đã có được là 556 dịch vụ công trực tuyến cấp độ 3 và 4. Trong đó thì là có 170 dịch vụ công trực tuyến mức độ 4 trên tổng số 1.883 dịch vụ công mà bộ máy chính quyền thành phố Hà Nội phải cung cấp. Như vậy chúng tôi cũng đạt được cái chỉ số khoảng 30%. Đấy. Và mục tiêu của chúng tôi là phải phấn đấu trong thời gian tới là phải thực hiện đạt được 55% dịch vụ công trực tuyến. Đấy. Thì nói như vậy thì quý vị cũng thấy là với một cái thành phố mà 10 triệu người làm được chuyện đó thì không phải là đơn giản. Đấy. Và như vậy chúng ta sẽ giảm được số lượng cực lớn người dân phải đến các cơ quan công quyền. Đấy. Cách làm việc là rất là khoa học như vậy. Tôi xin những cái nội dung về hai cái mảng về giáo dục thì thành phố chúng tôi cũng đã triển khai ứng dụng tuyển sinh học sinh cho 2.700 trường học, trong đó 250 gia đình tham gia với trên 6,3 triệu lượt người cung cấp vào cổng dịch vụ công trực tuyến, tuyển sinh trực tuyến, và cũng đã triển khai sổ điểm điện tử cho khoảng 900 trường học và triển khai sổ liên lạc điện tử cho khoảng 800 trường trên địa bàn thành phố. Về y tế thì chúng tôi cũng khởi động một số cái nội dung như là triển khai hệ thống quản lý hồ sơ sức khỏe cho nhân dân. Hiện nay đã thiết lập được khoảng độ gần 1 triệu hồ sơ sức khỏe và cập nhật thông tin cho khoảng độ hơn 100.000 mẫu xét nghiệm tầm ung thư sớm. Trong lĩnh vực môi trường thì thành phố cũng đã triển khai cái hệ thống quan trắc môi trường, chất lượng không khí, chất lượng nước, chất lượng mưa, bản đồ ngập úng. Và hiện nay đã cung cấp công khai trên cổng giao tiếp điện tử của thành phố. Song song như vậy thì chúng tôi cũng phải đồng hành, như quý vị đã biết là phải xây dựng các cái cơ sở dữ liệu cốt lõi. Chúng tôi đã nêu về cơ sở dữ liệu dân cư, cơ sở dữ liệu đất đai thì hiện nay là con số đầu tiên chúng tôi nêu là 3.340 cây số vuông, thì đấy là một cái bài toán rất lớn về cơ sở dữ liệu. Hiện nay chúng tôi đang ở giai đoạn là đo và chuẩn bị đưa vào số hóa cái hệ thống này. Thì sau cái này thì những cái hệ thống khác sẽ có cơ sở để triển khai trên cơ sở cái bản đồ nền. Các lớp số dữ liệu sẽ vào và sau đó thì tí nữa chúng tôi sẽ nói về vấn đề du lịch thông minh chẳng hạn, thì cũng sẽ triển khai trên những cái lớp như thế này. Nội dung thứ hai, chúng tôi sẽ báo cáo với quý vị về việc xây dựng và định hướng thành phố Hà Nội thông minh. Cái định hướng của chúng tôi là sẽ xây dựng thành phố thông minh sao cho đảm bảo cho chất lượng cuộc sống của người dân được nâng cao bằng cách triển khai các ứng dụng công nghệ ICT để cung cấp các dịch vụ công, hỗ trợ giải quyết kịp thời hiệu quả các vấn đề của người dân quan tâm như là giao thông, y tế, giáo dục, an toàn thực phẩm, môi trường, và trong đó phải nâng cao cái sự hài lòng của người dân. Và trong đó chúng tôi cũng phải nêu là vấn đề giao thông là một cái vấn đề rất là quan trọng, rất là khó khăn đối với các đô thị lớn, và trong cái điều kiện mà cái nguồn lực về giao thông, hạ tầng cũng chưa thể đáp ứng được và cái nguồn lực. Cái thứ hai về công tác quản lý đô thị thì phải xây dựng các hệ thống thông tin quản lý những cái lĩnh vực hạ tầng kỹ thuật chủ yếu được đô thị hóa, được liên thông, được chia sẻ dữ liệu giữa các ngành, và đẩy mạnh cái việc trao đổi giữa chính quyền và người dân để tăng cường sự tham gia của người dân, rồi nâng cao cái năng lực dự báo, hiệu quả, hiệu lực quản lý của bộ máy chính quyền. Về bảo vệ môi trường, chúng tôi cũng định hướng là xây dựng các hệ thống giám sát, cảnh báo trực tuyến về môi trường, nước, không khí, tiếng ồn, đất, chất thải, các hệ thống thu thập, phân tích dữ liệu, phục vụ nâng cao năng lực dự báo, phòng chống, ứng phó khẩn cấp, chủ động ứng phó biến đổi khí hậu. Trong tất cả những thành phố thì chúng tôi cũng thực hiện cái chương trình làm sao để nâng cao cái năng lực cạnh tranh bằng cách xây dựng hạ tầng thông tin số, khuyến khích cung cấp dữ liệu mở để đẩy mạnh các hoạt động khởi nghiệp, đổi mới, sáng tạo, giúp cho các doanh nghiệp giảm chi phí, mở rộng cơ hội hợp tác kinh doanh trong nền kinh tế số cũng như là hội nhập hiện nay. Về dịch vụ công thì vẫn tiếp tục làm sao cung cấp các dịch vụ công nhanh chóng và thuận tiện, đảm bảo cho tất cả mọi người dân được hưởng các dịch vụ công một cách nhanh chóng trên cơ sở hạ tầng thông tin số và được phủ khắp thành phố. Thành phố cũng định hướng phải xây dựng là phải tăng cường việc đảm bảo an ninh trật tự an toàn xã hội, phòng chống tội phạm. Cái này thì cũng trong cái thời đại hiện nay, các hệ thống công nghệ thông tin ICT hỗ trợ rất nhiều. Và cuối cùng là cũng phải hướng tới một cái xã hội thân thiện và văn minh. Với cái định hướng như vậy thì những cái nhiệm vụ chúng tôi dự kiến sẽ triển khai như sau. Tức là sẽ xây dựng, điểm thứ nhất là xây dựng kiến trúc ICT cho thành phố thông minh của Hà Nội. Thì thành phố cũng đã hợp tác với rất nhiều cái tập đoàn công nghệ từ Mỹ, từ Singapore, từ châu Âu để cùng nhau là xây dựng được cái kiến trúc của chính quyền điện tử cũng như kiến trúc thành phố thông minh của thành phố Hà Nội. Và đây cũng quý vị đã biết là cả một cái bài toán về công nghệ thông tin và hệ thống cực kỳ lớn với cái số lượng số liệu chúng tôi đã nêu như vậy. Không phải những bài toán nhỏ, những hệ thống cho nhiều triệu người dùng. Đấy, thì cái đó là chúng tôi nhắc lại. Chúng tôi sẽ triển khai một số thành phần cơ bản của thành phố thông minh trên nền tảng. Thứ nhất là một cái IOC, tức là trung tâm điều hành thành phố thông minh, Intelligent Operating Center. Và một số thành phần khác mà trọng tâm là phải triển khai trước như hệ thống giao thông thông minh, hệ thống du lịch thông minh, rồi trung tâm giám sát bảo mật an toàn thông tin. Thì chúng tôi sẽ triển khai ở trong cái trung tâm điều hành thông minh, chúng tôi sẽ triển khai 8 cái trung tâm nhỏ. Một là trung tâm giám sát bảo mật an toàn thông tin, hai là trung tâm hỗ trợ cho cán bộ sử dụng công nghệ thông tin của thành phố, ba là trung tâm quản lý thông tin báo chí và thông tin truyền thông, 4 là trung tâm giám sát điều hành giao thông và phòng chống tội phạm nơi công cộng, 5 là trung tâm phân tích dữ liệu, 6 là trung tâm hỏi đáp ý kiến phục vụ người dân, 7 là trung tâm quản lý các hoạt động dịch vụ hành chính công và 8 là trung tâm tiếp nhận xử lý thông tin cấp cứu, phòng cháy chữa cháy và tìm kiếm cứu hộ, cứu nạn y tế. Và trong đó thì chúng tôi cũng nhấn mạnh lại là trong phần giao thông thông minh thì chúng tôi sẽ tập trung triển khai trước để giải quyết cái vấn đề mà ùn tắc cũng như là cái năng lực vận chuyển hiện nay là đáp ứng chưa phải hoàn toàn là tốt cho người dân. Bao gồm các hệ thống là thông tin giao thông tích hợp, hệ thống giám sát xử lý trật tự an toàn giao thông, hệ thống điều khiển đèn tín hiệu giao thông thông minh, hệ thống phần mềm trung tâm giám sát điều hành giao thông tích hợp trong trung tâm điều hành thông minh của thành phố, hệ thống phần mềm quản lý điều hành vận tải công cộng, phòng cháy chữa cháy, cứu hộ, cứu nạn, hệ thống vé điện tử, hệ thống thu phí, điều tiết và hạn chế các phương tiện giao thông và hệ thống trông giữ xe ô tô thông minh. Về hệ thống du lịch thì chúng tôi triển khai các cái thành phần sau: cổng thông tin du lịch của thành phố, các cái ứng dụng, các app ở trên điện thoại cung cấp các hỗ trợ cho khách du lịch, bản đồ số du lịch Hà Nội và tích hợp dữ liệu, cơ sở dữ liệu tích hợp của Hà Nội và các cái ứng dụng hỗ trợ truy nhập thông tin cho khách. Và chúng tôi cũng triển khai một số cái thành phần cơ bản của hệ thống y tế thông minh, giáo dục thông minh, quản lý điện năng thông minh và quản lý môi trường thông minh. Và cũng báo cáo quý vị là dưới sự chỉ đạo của các đồng chí lãnh đạo thành phố trực tiếp là ngài thị trưởng thì thành phố chúng tôi định hướng là sẽ tiếp cận các cái công nghệ mới nhất để đưa vào ứng dụng, ví dụ như từ blockchain, AI, big data, IoT và tất cả công nghệ mới nhất. Thì có lẽ là trong cái thời lượng một bài phát biểu chúng tôi cũng không sẽ trao đổi sâu về những vấn đề công nghệ ở đây. Thưa quý vị, trong thời đại hiện nay thì khoa học và công nghệ ngày càng hiện đại và không thể thiếu cho sự phát triển kinh tế xã hội của một quốc gia, và các thành phần về khoa học công nghệ hàng ngày càng xâm nhập sâu vào quá trình sản xuất, cũng quá trình điều hành cũng như mọi lĩnh vực của đời sống xã hội. Trong cái xu thế hiện nay của thời đại của chúng ta là thời đại cách mạng công nghiệp 4.0 thì sẽ có rất nhiều cái thay đổi tác động vào cuộc sống cũng như là của con người, toàn bộ bộ máy quản lý, điều hành hay là cái hoạt động của doanh nghiệp cũng như là của mọi người dân. Thì chúng tôi tin rằng là với cái sự tham gia đồng bộ của cả chính quyền của thành phố, của người dân, của cộng đồng doanh nghiệp cũng như là của tất cả doanh nghiệp trong nước và sự hỗ trợ của bạn bè quốc tế thì thành phố Hà Nội thì sẽ xây dựng thành công cái chính quyền điện tử và thành phố thông minh và xây dựng thủ đô chúng tôi thành một thủ đô phát triển bền vững, hiện đại và văn minh. Xin chúc quý vị đại biểu sức khỏe và hạnh phúc. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
Thank you, Mr. Dangvuton, for your presentation. Continue the schedule. I would like to invite Mr. Srinivasan Tukaram, APAC from Sterlite Technologies Limited, gives the presentation on smart networks for the future, new digital horizons. Please.
Xin chào. That's the only word I know in Vietnamese. Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity for me to come and speak with you about building future smart networks. We are talking about, a lot of people before me have talked about building future networks and why we will be doing that. And we also have speakers after me who would be talking about a lot more about building smart edge networks and smart solutions, etc. So what I am trying to, at this point, speak is how do you build a strong foundation if you want to build all those huge networks on top of that. So to start with, a lot of people before me talked about 5G. You also know about 5G and how 5G is impacting are going to impact the future generations and the amount of data that it is going to be generating. And we also are talking about FTTH, we are talking about other new generation technologies. So some of these things, all of these technologies, all of these use cases are going to use or require some fundamental building blocks for you to then start developing new items. So one of that would be ubiquitous, which means that it should be everywhere, and which is why the last mile will always be mobile. It should be high speed, because people are not talking about gigabits and megabits. Now we are talking about terabits and exabits, etc. And it should always be on, and it should be available now. So what this means is that you're going to be consuming a lot of data. And we're talking about data being generated in 1 year now, what it took 100 years before to generate. Now, if it is this case in the 2018, 2019, imagine how is it going to be in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Are we building networks that can sustain that? And if you want to build networks that can sustain for the next 20, 30, 50 years, then how do you lay a very strong foundation? And that's essentially what I'm driving at. And as you could see in the past several years, as the volume of data consumption goes up, the amount of fiber deployment also goes up significantly in every geography that we have seen. And today I would think that there's a lot more fiber than the amount of electricity cables, etc., that's being deployed. And this is only going to go even more. And as I mentioned earlier, so you need to look at few key things. One is scale, which means that am I building a network that can take care of exponential future requirements? Can I deliver that network absolutely lightning speed? And is it going to be agile, which means can I build this network that can take on any kind of new application? So what the new operators are doing is they're not building isolated networks anymore, which means that you're not building networks for mobile separately, for FTTH separately, for IoT separately. It's going to be one integrated network, which means that whatever is being built for one application will support all other applications. And how do you build one network like that? So if I have to give you any input, it's just two takeaways from today's presentation. One is deploy very high fiber count cables, which means that even though you think that you're only going to require 100 fiber cables or 100 cores, think about building something which is 5 times that, 10 times that, because the investment in deploying fiber cables today is going to be giving you results over the next several years. And just before me, we had our speaker talking about Hanoi, building Hanoi as a smart city. And for that, my suggestion is go deep underground, which means that you should be starting to build your fiber network underground and not above. And that's the only way for you to sustain over the next 10, 20, 30 to 50 years. So in that context now, how can we help? Sterlite is one of the largest Indian companies in this space. And we start from silica. So we actually take silica and we build fiber optic cables. And we also deploy those fiber optic cables for our customers. Our customers include BSNL, and for them we also build the border networks across India. So we have deployed 10,000 kilometers of fiber across the Himalayas. And we have deployed fiber optic cables across all kinds of terrains that is imaginable. High, low, riverbeds, and plains and deserts, etc. So we know how to build networks. And we also know how to execute or deliver software around those networks. So we have solutions that can manage networks. So as an organization, we understand what it takes for you to become a smart country in future. And we would be able to offer you a lot of guidance and support in that direction. So just to give you an idea in terms of what we are talking about high fiber count, so you would see that we are not talking about 96 core or 144, etc. We are not talking about fiber cables with carrying thousands of cores, all possibly within 1 inch. So with that, I would thank you and really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you. Good day.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan Tukaram, for your presentation. The final, I would like to invite Ms. Subha and Brahambani, Director of BSNL, gives the presentation on smart cities, a march towards future. Please.
Good morning and warm greetings from BSNL Bharat Sanchar Nigam fraternity to all of you. I would like to thank the organizers as well as Government of India to give us this opportunity to speak against such an august gathering in this ICT Expo, Vietnam ICT Expo 2018. Thank you very much. Smart city, it is a synonymous for the progress. It is nothing but a broad concept. What for? It's a broad concept for any technology to put in use for making this world the most happy world, comfortable world, the livable world. It is nothing but to use the technology for a harmonious, sustainable model ecosystem to live in. If we try to define a city as a smart city, it is just for any city which use information and communication technology for better living, for reducing the resource consumption, for cost optimization, as well as for complete harmony in the lives of any citizen. So smart city is a synonym for the progress. Why do we create smart cities? What for? Let's see what is the India's perspective in this regard. But before that, let's have a look about the demography of smart cities or the India, our country. We have you can see the total population of the country is vast. It is around 1324 billion. With this population, the urban population is around 33.14%. The growth rate of the urban population, that means the population living in the urban areas, is alarmingly high. It is around 2.13% per year, with a GDP, impressive GDP of 7.1%. The total GDP is around $2.3 billion. And the infrastructure investment in this GDP contributes around 32-33%. The average age, the median age of the Indian youth is around 27, 28 years. India is a very young country. So with this age, with this demography, we see the per capita income is around 1680 US dollars. With this population demography as well as the economy, let's see what's happening. So India definitely is moving towards the urbanization. In 2011, as per our census population, around 35 cities were there who were having more than 1 million population. Now see, as per in 10 years, in less than a decade, the population increase is around for 53 cities who are having more than 1 million population. Just now, the before speaker told there are 2 cities only in Vietnam, Hanoi and the other one, who are having this population. So India is a vast country with this thing, and the growth rate is really high in this country. The decadal growth rate is almost 30%. That means in a decade, 31% of the population is going to live in the urban cities. It is expected that by 2030, the overall population who will be living in the urban areas, the cities, will be around 590 million. This is a mind-boggling figure. So definitely, the reasons for this is the expansion in the urban areas, the good lifestyle in the urban areas, the ease, the industry, the investment. But it has come with this strains also. The strains on the urban population, all the peripheries, this thing is increasing. It is a strain on our resources, our consumption, healthcare. The employment is reducing. So urbanization has got with its own set of problems also in the time. So what is the solution? Solution is nothing but a city which is inclusive, which is having all the 4 parameters of affordability, accessibility, you can say sustainability, and the equalability. Definitely, we would like to have the cities which are having all the healthcare opportunities, who are having the housing, affordable housing, societies, who are having the education for all, for the poor, for the rich, for everyone. Apart from that, a safe and secure life for the common citizen. So it has to be an inclusive city taking care of all the factors of a human life. Then only a city can be a smart city, to live in city. So keeping this aspect in mind, Government of India in 2014 has launched this program, ambitious program of 100 Smart City Mission program in our country. And now it has taken a shape. It's quite a big this thing. See the statistics. It's almost 150 billion US dollars project, out of which the government's contribution is around 32 billion US dollars. It is going to impact almost 99 to 100 cities. This is a very ambitious project. It is a city-centric project. That means depending upon the demography, depending upon the requirement of a particular city, the solutions, the technologies, the services have to be provided by all the stakeholders in this particular Smart City Mission program. The earlier speaker from CDOT has already told about the details of the, you can say the program, the area retrofitting, the greenfield development. So I'm not going into that details, but definitely it's a very ambitious and motivating project of government, and all the stakeholders are working in this project wholeheartedly as of now. You can have. Let's have a look on the what is this ecosystem consist of. It's a system of systems. It is having major stakeholders, whether it's government, whether it is public, whether it is tourists, whether it is students, all are the stakeholders who are going to adopt this in the due course. What are the, you can say the chances? All these smartphones, smart vehicles, smart TVs, etc., they are the chances for this particular thing to use. What are the smart channels and the elements who are going to use these smart services in due course, that whether it is the field of mobility, in the field of security, in the field of education, all this are going to be used by all the stakeholders in due course. And the main infrastructure on which it lies is the smart city infrastructure, the core infrastructure, the backbone infrastructure is there, and the citizens are the sensors who are going to sense, who are going to use it as per their requirement, as per their convenience. We need to know that this the ecosystem is already in place, at least in our country as of now, and all the stakeholders, whether it is technology providers, whether it is service providers, they are working to make this mission, this dream a success. The main enablers for this particular project, of the smart city, one of them is the standardization, because if there is standardization between the various solutions, various services, then it will not be a good of use. Apart from that, the funding, private-public models, funding is the big thing which is required. And innovation. Definitely innovation has to be there, which is the other name for any smart city, depending upon the requirement. Let's see how Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited works in this zone, in this foray, in the field of smart cities. Before that, I would just like to tell about BSNL. It has a 100% government PSU in India. It is having a pan-India reach, working from Leh to Ladakh, Kanyakumari to Jalandhar. It is having the complete presence both in urban as well as rural areas in the country. It is having a large network of all the infrastructure support. It is having a pair of services, whether landline, broadband, mobile, FTTH, Wi-Fi, Inmarsat, satellite, you name it, the services are available with this operator, the government operator. We are having the complete array of many partners with us. The system integrators are with us. We are having the data centers, which are the world-renowned data centers being used by all the government organizations and the private sector equally. Apart from that, we have a very large and robust experience integrating the projects. The BharatNet project, the NFS project, the Northeast Development Telecom Plan project, and various other Wi-Fi projects. BSNL is always leading in integrating, in executing, and implementing all such big projects in the country, in India. Let's see its credentials. More than 8.1 lakh route kilometer of optical fiber cable has been laid by us in the country. We are having more than 1,000 software professionals. Nowhere, the big companies, small companies are having, this is the total strength of a company. We are having just one sector who is having, we call it ITPC, who is handling day in, day out, many applications and software development programs. Apart from that, we are having world-class 7 data centers. For this, we are having almost 10.1 crores of mobile capacity, almost 1,29,000 of mobile-based towers. Idea of telling all this is the credentials are really there as far as the BSNL, the government PSU, working in concern. And not only the telecom sector, but in the ICT sector also. Let's have a look on our experience in the smart city domain. The smart city domains, as I told you, we are the most preferred choice for giving the connectivity, the bandwidth, the back-end support, the point-to-point, as well as the MPLS connectivity for all and each projects in the smart city in our country. This is foremost our credentials. Apart from that, we are taking so many system integration projects. As far as the smart solutions are concerned, regarding this Swachh Bharat mission, Ministry of Urban Development has already signed a pact with us, and more than 300 urban local bodies, BSNL is providing vehicle tracking systems and app-based mobile systems for tracking, for managing the show as far as this SBM is concerned. This toilet feedback systems have been already input in more than 100 cities. Wherever we use these facilities, we can give a feedback which is online being connected to the state bodies, to the administrator, and they can take proper action for its usage. Apart from that, the safe and secure city, the surveillance systems in Pune, one of the major cities of the country, almost around 1,500 surveillance cameras have been put in major traffic intersections to monitor, to control, and to take reactive actions as far as this surveillance is concerned. The smart pole concept has been brought. We have put recently some smart poles in Bihar, our one of the premier distinct states. There it is being used for not only monitoring the traffic, for not only giving this, you can say, for controlling, but it is having Wi-Fi also. It is having environmental sensors also to sense the environment, to sense the day and night, and act accordingly. And the live feed is being given to the operators, to the data center, and based on that live feed, the actions are being taken, being reported to the administration, city administration, for taking the corrective actions. Many smart solutions we are providing, whether it is smart schools, e-classrooms, whether it is smart traffic management systems, we are there. Apart from that, Wi-Fi is already there. Almost 1 lakh Wi-Fi hotspots, access points have been provided by BSNL so far in various projects. We are definitely building up more use cases as the time is coming, as per the requirement. Lot many use cases, as I told, are being put up in all the tourist places and all, depending upon the requirement, whether it is the billboard, whether it is the public address system, whether it is the e-governance projects. Lot many projects are in pipeline and are being implemented along with our partners in our country. We have a very strong partner relationships, a good ecosystem, big partners, names Cisco, Nokia, all the big partners are with us. Apart from that, the small partners, the app developers, the startups, they are integrating with BSNL to take part in this journey of a smart city program of the country, in our country as well as outside. Lot many small and the big companies have added, they have become our partners in this foray. In 5G forum also, as was told, we have signed up the agreements with major players, whether it is Nokia, Cisco, Samsung, SoftBank, for working towards making these implementations and the programs. Let's have a look about the ASEAN Smart City Network. What is it? As you all are aware, in May 2018, this year itself, in Singapore-led ASEAN nations, have adopted this new concept of innovation and resilience. Innovation is nothing, it's a buzzword. Innovation is nothing but the use of technology for making smart cities. So, almost 26 cities, 3 cities per country have, I think, adopted this use of collaborative platform for achieving the goal of a smart and sustainable urban landscape in time to come. The time frame defined in this summit was 2018 to 2025. Let's see how it works. And definitely, this is to be used for all the ASEAN countries, nations, and the cities as per their requirement to build up a happy nation, a livable nation, a cost-effective nation for time to come. And definitely, BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, can partner in this growth story also, whether it is our opportunities in provisioning of the network solutions, whether it is the cloud services, our data centers, our enterprise solutions. And definitely the core competency of building the network, the infrastructure by way of the optical fiber, by way of the data center is always with us. So in the story of ASEAN nations of developing the smart city network, BSNL along with its partners can play an important role, and we look forward or having a partnership with all the countries of ASEAN. So I will end my presentation with a quote that coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress, while working together is success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Supha and Hamhani, for your presentation. In order to share experience on smart cities between Vietnam and India, I would like to invite Mr. Sandeep Agawa, MD, Paramount Wise and Cable, moderators, as well as panelists who have speakers, and Mr. Nguyễn Minh Luân, Deputy Director General of Information Technology Company, VNPT Group, go to the stage for the discussion, please.
I believe we are nearing the end of this program now, and a lot of students I see here. So I believe apart from the leaders of the industry and people from Vietnam Telecom, the students themselves are really more interested in knowing what is the future of the smart cities in their country. So we would really like to know that in India, we are going for 100 smart cities now, and we want to change the destiny of our people. Similarly, I believe, is the view of Vietnam. But what we see is sometimes we try to ape in the Western concepts, the Western concept of smart cities, and there, maybe because of the less amount of manpower, their concepts are different. So they go in for systems which are really not suited for countries like India or Vietnam. So, for that matter, other ASEAN countries. So what probably, from the speakers who have been here, I can gather is that it will be slightly different model. The model will not be the same as which comes through the multinational corporations, the G7, when they bring in their model to us. They bring in a model which is sometimes very expensive, sometimes it has got equipments and systems which are not really required by our people. So therefore, I will, although all the speakers have already spoken on this, but as the panel discussions are there, I would like to, again reiterate that what kind of solutions we are able to bring in differently. And we would also like probably to get feedback from the people here sitting in front of us now. What are your views? What are the students' views? What are the industry's view on how differently it could be done, if at all it could be done differently, and why and how the countries of the same, problems, with the same problems like India and Vietnam, should not work together. Why we have to go to Australia? Because I was looking into smart city projects being done by Australian companies for Vietnam. So there was some video on that on the net. And as we said that Singapore, Vietnam is working, yes. But their solutions will not be exactly to your requirements. So what we say is, work with India. We would have similar solutions because we have similar problems to Vietnam. So probably, one of our guests here was speaking about Mr. Doi, right? Mr. Doi? Yeah. Hi. So you were talking about, one second. So you were talking about blockchain. So what do you mean by using blockchain in smart cities?
Như tôi đã nêu ấy, thì là thành phố Hà Nội là một cái thành phố siêu đô thị. Với khoảng 10 triệu dân với 3.340 cây số vuông như vậy, thì chúng tôi phải set up những cái cơ sở dữ liệu cực lớn, đúng không ạ? Cái thứ hai là với một cái đô thị lớn như vậy thì mọi cái vấn đề về giao tác, về dữ liệu, đúng không ạ? Trao đổi dữ liệu cũng như tương tác giữa người dân với chính phủ, tương tác giữa các doanh nghiệp với nhau và người dân với người dân. Thì là rất nhiều cái nội dung liên quan đến như vậy. Và tất nhiên thì blockchain thì tôi cũng không phải là một cái chuyên gia blockchain, nhưng theo chúng tôi hiểu thì là blockchain sẽ là một cái nền tảng chia sẻ nhưng vẫn quản lý được và lần theo cái vết rất là tốt, đảm bảo cả sự an toàn, an toàn về dữ liệu cũng như là an toàn về chống cái sự giả mạo ở trong cái việc mà giao tác như trao đổi dữ liệu. Và chúng tôi nghĩ rằng là với cái bài học trên thế giới thì theo những cái thông tin chúng tôi biết thì chính phủ Estonia là cái cũng đã đưa những cái ứng dụng của blockchain vào cái trong công việc quản lý của điều hành chính phủ cũng như cung cấp các dịch vụ cho người dân. Đấy. Và cũng đã rất nhiều cái xu thế hiện nay trong cái xu thế công nghệ mới của cách mạng công nghệ 4.0 thì từ các cái khối doanh nghiệp cũng như là những cái chiều hướng mà tương tác mới thì đều ứng dụng cái công nghệ này. Thế thì quan điểm thì các cái nhà lãnh đạo của thành phố Hà Nội cũng đã chỉ đạo chúng tôi là những cái đơn vị tham mưu mặt chuyên môn cũng phải xem những cái công nghệ mà nó phù hợp với những cái bài toán để xây dựng chính quyền điện tử thành phố thông minh của chúng tôi thì ứng dụng vào cho nó phù hợp. Thế còn những cái vấn đề cụ thể thì chắc là phải ở cấp độ mà chuyên gia sẽ trao đổi về từng cái bài toán cụ thể như chúng tôi đã nêu khi xây dựng thành phố thông minh cho Hà Nội.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As our friend told us, that blockchain could be very well utilized in securitizing the database. And we will obviously, in this interaction, we'd love to get inputs from Shobhaji. What do you say, Shobhaji? What can you do with ASEAN countries? How can you work together with them to bring in this smart city networks?
As I told, the ASEAN country is working on the concept of a smart city network, which will be using a collaborative platform by all the cities in the countries for developing a smart and sustainable urban landscape. Now it is in the initial stage. We from India, BSNL in particular, and all other companies in general, can definitely work along with few cities of ASEAN nations to at least first devise a framework on which the smart city elements will be developed. The framework, the technological guidance, and subsequently the implementation part. Since our core competency is already there in developing the infrastructure, in building the network that can be utilized by the cities in these countries for making it resilient as well as for future smart uses. And definitely with the partnership of our various technology partners and the system integrators, things can be shown, can be implemented, and can be guided in ASEAN networks, nations, to build a smart city networks.
Okay. Thank you, Shubhaji. I would like to ask Srinivasan, how and what are you doing to partner with Vietnam or the other ASEAN countries for providing cabling solutions and other solutions for their smart city projects?
All right. We do a few. We work together in a few different areas with different governments. For example, one of the areas where we can work with the Hanoi government is when you're going to deploy a network of network that is supporting 10 million population here. So it requires some kind of breakthrough thinking in terms of how do you now build a cable solution or a cabling network that can sustain from today's 10 million to maybe 20 million in 2050. Because cities like Hanoi will get urbanized even more and more. And when you go and plan for that long in future, there are not many people who are able to support your vision like that. So we are able to work with city governments to help them figure out how do they run cables under the ground, and how do you use all your existing infrastructure. For example, are you using your sewage network adequately enough for you to run cables, right? And are you able to use combine your other infrastructure projects such as new developments that are coming up, and how do you make sure that if not in the next 5 years, at least in the next 10, 15 years, every house in Hanoi is accessible by fiber. And this could be a big game changer in the long term, because today we look at fiber optic cables carrying only data. As you might be knowing, some of you, and a lot of you would be surprised to know that we are actually trying to figure out how do we pump electricity through fiber optic cables. We have actually done, we have pumped 10 kilowatts into one strand of fiber optic cable. In today's time, we see a lot of losses, but what we know is that it is possible to do, right? And over a period of time, things might improve, and then you may be able to supply not just data, but electricity into every single house through fiber optic cables. So that is the kind of future that you need to think about, and that is the kind of future that you need to be planning today for. And with Mr. Sandeep and Sterlite and few other companies in India, we are looking at that kind of future, and we are working with different city governments and different operators across the Southeast Asian region to help prepare for that future. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivasan. I'll tell you one more thing. What Srinivasan just said, that they are trying to do something totally new. I think this will be news to most of the people here, pumping electricity through fiber optic. So, brilliant idea. And if it is implemented, well, it will be a game changer again. But there is one more thing, when we were talking about, a lot of people were talking about poles and other equipment which are gathering information. But we are forgetting that at least I know Sterlite and Paramount, we together, and we have technologies which can use the optical fiber cable themselves as sensors. So if you have 100,000 kilometers of cables crisscrossing your city or state, the amount of sensors available is that much, 100,000 kilometers. You could sense movement in land, you could sense somebody trying to dig in areas where they're not required to, you can sense people building tunnels under buildings, which are not allowed. Maybe there's a bank and somebody is trying to dig in tunnel, and you know exactly if something is happening which is not authorized. If it is a real smart city, you will really know that what construction is allowed and what construction is not allowed. And if it is allowed, that signal which will come to the smart city center, you will disregard, you'll say, okay, accept it. But if some digging is happening where it is not allowed, immediately some people can go there and stop the work being done. So when we put in smart sensors, I think people forget the cables are the smartest sensors of them all. So we can really work towards it. Most of the users are not using it. As India also has a lot of optical fiber cables, but we can use it for gas pipelines, we could use it for city, as I said about the city, how we can use it. There's a huge possibility of using the network which will be used for data transfer to be sensors themselves. So if somebody else has to say C dot, you could put more guidance to us on this, please?
Yeah. If I talk about the Indian experience, we know that we are having BharatNet. That is a very prestigious program that is based on the optical fibers. And so far, we have been able to reach out to around 0.3 million gram panchayats, that are the units of self-government in the Indian villages. And we have been very successful out there. And when we talk about the extra mile connectivity, if you want to give broadband to the masses, that is the demand of today, which is the high-speed broadband in a way that it gives them the bandwidth to do the video streaming and to have all these services which we want in a smart city.
No, Aman, I think you're getting me wrong. You know, I am asking you that, do you have something to say upon the cables themselves being used as smart sensors?
So as far as our experience in M2M and IoT is concerned, we haven't explored much on that part because still in the nascent stages. Okay. We are, in India also, we are in the nascent stages of IoT and M2M development. So we haven't explored this side as to use the cables as sensors. And maybe it's a new dimension, we should give it an edge for research. So that would be something better if we can utilize the optical fiber network that we are laying in India, which is going to be very extensive. So definitely it's going to accelerate the M2M proliferation at a rapid pace.
But you surely know, that a lot of companies in India, especially Sterlite and Paramount, we are doing sensing through optical fibers and maintaining the integrity of along the highway, the cables are running along the highway. As Ravi Kanji was mentioning, that the cable running along the highway, if they are smart sensed, then anybody creating any trouble, digging, or even an accident on the highway can be actually sensed, not through the camera, but through, somebody even speeding past at a very high speed and creating that kind of turbulence can be found using our systems. And we will love if our friends in Vietnam and other ASEAN countries explore possibilities with us regarding this kind of technology being employed by them. So we can always work with them. And we can always assure one thing is that when an Indian company works, we always have a system of give and take. We give you something, but we also learn from you, and we also teach you. It is not like the multinational corporations. Yes, they will only give you the technology to use. And if you want to do something else in it, some small change, they will charge you big sums of money later. As our friend from Tejas was mentioning yesterday, that how they will give you only 3 channels, and that's enough. But when you want to go for additional channels, they will charge you a bomb. So what we need to ensure is when you work with an Indian company, that is not what you will ever face. You will always find we are more cooperative, and we understand the ethos of the countries. So I believe our friends here and the students also, if you have any questions, probably we could ask the gathering. So if anybody has any questions, we would love to take them. Anybody? Anybody from the students faculty or from the ministry? Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. Hi, I'm from Cambodia, so I'll speak English. You don't need to. Anyways, I was quite interested in the first presentation that touches on smart. You mentioned smart cities, smart towns, smart village. So I think smart village is quite an interesting idea. I know India is doing smart city, 100 smart cities, but in terms of village, what have you done in terms of making village smarter, more sustainable, or so what did India do in the village space, and that can actually help empower people in the village? Thank you.
The concept of smart villages that we have in India is basically different from smart city perspective in terms of technology proliferation. Because a city and a village both have a different requirement. When you talk about a city, there is already a technology development that is taking place. So when we were exploring the cities, our main focus was on sustaining the technology in the village environment. You know, when you have the equipment which is working in office, is not going to work in a village environment. So our purpose was to ruggedize it, to make it workable on green technologies, utilize the renewable sources of energy rather than what we use in the cities. So I showed you one Wi-Fi that was working on solar power. So that was what we tried there. We also ruggedized certain terminals, certain routers, which are going to be placed in the open environments so that they can withstand the variations in the atmospheric operating environments. Other than that, I'll tell you one thing very interesting. That was, when we visited the villages, there was internet in the village, but people were not able to access the services. We say that smart cities are meant for citizens. They are the ones who are supposed to access the services. But if you don't have the technology that can provide them the services in an easy and convenient manner, then our purpose is defeated. So we came up with an idea of having digital literacy and digital empowerment. So I talked about one equipment there, that was Gyan Setu, which was based on, then we had one more problem there. The people who are illiterate, they don't know whether the information being given to them is correct or being compromised. Let's say if the information related to banking and finance. So I can't help him out. It was a personal data. So we wanted to have the biometric access and other things. And then the programmable cards, so that a person gets the information, not only in the text, but also in the visual format, in the audio format, so that he understands what the application wants to say to you, like a normal user understands. So these were some of the challenges which we faced in implementing smart villages. We are exploring newer dimensions in that area, on especially the M2M and IoT side, how we can take it up to the village level for implementing smart agriculture, to measure the soil salinity parameters, and how we can help the farmers work more on the weather forecasting and other things, how to take care of the crops and all other areas.
Government of India is already working of connecting all the villages, around 6 lakhs, 50,000 villages in our country as a part of Digital India initiative. So once all the villages comes to the digital map, automatically the broadband, the connectivity part will be covered, and all the applications work on that. For example, this smart village concept, as you are telling, say for farmers, in one of our state, Odisha, it's almost 2 to 3 years, almost 4 years, we have implemented a solution that all the farmers of that particular state in the morning can get the rates, the prices of all the grains, all their produces over through some app, having the connectivity. They can get the rates, everything on their mobiles as well as on their systems before going even to the market. So India, it is a different scenario, making it first connected, the digitalized, and then loading the applications and the services to making it really smart.
Jaya, please.
So So in India, I mean, you would see a lot of applications being developed uh, by many companies, individuals, startups. So what we realized is that, while there is e-governance applications from the government and e-education, healthcare, medicine, and farming related applications, and even stuff that, the fishermen that use, the information about coastal areas. We actually have satellite information being provided to fishermen saying that this is the area with the geo coordinates provided for so that they can go targeted fishing, where there's fishes to be taken rather than just doing it randomly. So you can follow the schools of fishes. And what we realized is that while there are multiple applications that are there, and the users have the devices in their hands, and now these devices are at a price point which is acceptable, which means that a smartphone today is 60, 70 US dollars, or even lesser in India, with a 4-inch screen. And the data consumption is also priced at crazily economical prices. I think now it's probably 10 cents to GB or 1 cent per GB. So that's the level of pricing that we are looking at. And while we had all of this stuff, people are still not using it. That is where we had BSNL, which is our national network provider, coming in and saying that, how do I build a network that reaches all the way there, right? And sustainably, and a network that has high resilience, high reliability. And then we had CDOT coming in, which then said, all right, what is the piece that is missing now? So the piece that is missing is no electricity here. So how do they then, charge their devices or even deliver Wi-Fi? So that's where they developed applications. Then they realized that people are not educated. So all these applications in multiple languages not going to be helpful if they are not able to actually go and make it work for them. So the connection between an application and an individual was established through a multimodal device like the one that was displayed. And all of these are being done at price points which makes sense for the Indian economy. Because we are really not able to go and buy this stuff from big Europeans and big American companies. So we wanted to develop those things which works in our conditions and which are accessible to the people and which are at price points that make sense for us. I think in that context, at least 7 out of 10 ASEAN countries, I would think excluding Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, for example, right? 7 out of 10 ASEAN countries have very, very similar requirements that what we have. And I think that is where the connection could be made, because we really understand how people can live at $2 a day or even lesser. A lot of people in developed countries cannot understand that. So hope that helps explain this.
One more thing, what you said, how it is different in the villages is, as we were telling, that yes, there are mobile devices and yes, they are cheap. But still, even today or even for the next few years, all the villagers may not have the smartphones with them. So therefore, the applications which are being brought in by the CDOT and put in place by BSNL along the length and breadth of India is based upon community centers, CCS, community centers, right? Yeah. So there, people can go and they are helped in getting all kind of services. So that is a bit of a different, because in cities when we talk that applications will be available on their phone and they will be working on them, probably these applications are available on the computer. And then, also see that they have to be taught. So there have been some experiments and situations where hole in the wall kind of thing. You put a computer there for people who do not understand the language which is there on that computer. Even now the applications are there have the local language, but still some applications do not have local languages. So even without those, because of the visual aid, what you are seeing, over a period of time, people start learning the applications and start using them. So there would be differences in how you use the applications in the city environment and in the village environment. The villagers, they will need even more than the city people. They need e-health more than us, because there, today the applications are available to take your blood pressure and other things on small devices, even mobile phones. And they could be uploaded, sent to city doctors, and the reports brought in. So that is what we are doing right now. That is the whole aim of the BharatNet project, which is the pan-India project to provide digital connectivity to the villages. So I believe we could give you some information on what you wanted. You have something to ask? No, you.
Good morning. So first of all, thank you very much for your own presentation, sharing very deeply information and knowledge for the smart city. So I have a question. I quite agree with Mr. Đặng Vũ Tuấn when he said whatever you build the e-government or smart city, the most two important things is you have the citizen database and the e-ID. So as India is a big country with 1.3 billion population, so how you can handle these two issues, building the database, citizen database and the EID for 1.3 billion people in India?
Can you repeat the last line, please?
The EID, the
Electronic ID.
authentication.
Yeah.
And I know that India have do very well in this. For each person, we have one ID from the day she or he was born. So please share experience with us. Thank you.
Well, I'll start, then I'll let other panelists who are, know much more than me on this will speak. Well, I can say, yes, India has got Aadhaar. Aadhaar is the universal identification number, which has the biometrics and the details. It is also connectable to your mobile numbers and your bank accounts and to all government services can be given. In India, the government is now looking for paying subsidies through the banking channel. So instead of giving a subsidy, they will give cash back. So the cash back will come through the ID, UID. So this Aadhaar card, so once you are identified and you have to receive that subsidy. So you do not get the item cheap. You get it at the market price, and the difference in price is then credited back to your bank account. So that is another smart way of dealing in things, so that there are no dual price goods available in the market, which creates problems. So for example, if you see kerosene and kerosene for ages, or gas, cooking gas, for ages they were being supplied in India at differential pricing, and because the prices were much lower than the market prices, there was a lot of theft and other things. Now they will actually be sold at the market prices, they are being done, and then through this Aadhaar being connected to the banking account, the money will be is being transferred to the account of the person who supposedly is from a weaker section of the society. So only those people will get the benefit, and that will be direct benefit. So that is called the direct benefit transfer scheme in India. And probably Aman will be throwing more light on this.
Yeah, as far as the technology is concerned, you wanted to know about how we are managing the database of EIDs. See, our Aadhaar, which we talked about, that is the EID for India, stores your biometric information, And definitely, if we have so many people in our country, we need to have very high capacity data centers, which are based on the latest technologies. So that is the technology part. We have the data centers which are based on DWDM, that is the dense wavelength division multiplexing. And if I talk about the servers, see, the data is very important, and it is the private data which is very prone to misuse if compromised. So our purpose was to create some zonal backups. So in India, we have divided our nation into multiple zones. So the zone data of one zone is being replicated onto the other zone, all the other zones. So we are having a mesh kind of a network, wherein we are replicating the data in all networks for easy recovery. And secondly, it is a multi-layered mechanism. You cannot access the data unless you qualify all those levels of privacy. Not only is the OTP one method, one-time password, that is there. Along with that, we have a number of common service centers throughout the country that provide citizen services. Because everybody is not technology savvy. So our purpose is to have a common service center in every village, and a lot of numbers in each district, each town, so that people can easily access the Aadhaar-based services, as we talked about. And other than that, some of the information related to an individual is dynamic. You need to change your address. You need to change your mobile number. You need to update some of your other credentials. So we need to have a mechanism that provides you a faster update. So that is a challenge because people in India, everybody is not tech savvy. So we had to look out at other options in the common service centers, setting kiosks, asking for the biometric accesses. So this is how we have implemented EID in India.
So I think now we'll have to close it. The time is over. It says 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, all zeros. Okay, one more question. Right, the last one.
One last question. I was quite intrigued about what you were saying about using fiber optic for electricity. So can you expand a little bit on that, how likely it is, and when can we expect this kind of technology to come out?
So right now it's in our labs. In labs across different optical fiber companies. The bigger players like Paramount and Starlight and a few others are working on this. And what we have figured out is that you can pump electricity through fiber optic, through fiber. So essentially that changed everything. And the stage where we are right now at is we are facing 70% loss. Now, in any kind of distribution system, you cannot afford to have 70% loss, which means that if I pump 10 kVA, I get 3 kVA on the other side. But what's happening right now is we are experimenting with different kind of glass and different kind of coatings, because this is the ones that will carry it through the other end. And once we reach a stage where we think that it could be commercialized, then obviously it will be going out to the market and start doing it. In my view, this is probably 15 years away, 10, 15 years away in terms of getting commercialized, because this is a long, slow research process. So we are right now at that level of research stage, but we believe that that is the future. Now there are a lot of different companies betting on it. Not everybody is talking because obviously these are highly valuable future technologies, right? But we think it is going to be there. Probably 15 years from now, you would do it. And that's the reason why we are saying, if you looked at my presentation, it had only 2 points. One point is go deep underground. Because if you're going to build networks that should live for next 50 years, you want to be underground. You cannot have it above ground. And second is put as many fibers as possible, as practically possible at this stage now. Even if you think you require only about 100 fiber for the next 10 years, maybe you should put 500. Because if I start pumping electricity to your house through fiber, then where do you find the fiber at that time? Because you cannot keep digging up. I hope it helps. All right, thank you.
So thank you so much. As we have discussed, I will really appreciate the people from industry and government if they bring forward whatever has been discussed here and send us emails and keep the discussion on. Any questions, we will be ready to answer. But also, we would like to start doing business on the telecom front with the ASEAN countries, and we will love that you come out with projects. We can also think of a grand project like the BharatNet project being implemented in Cambodia or other countries in ASEAN, where we could probably tie up with local companies. Our BSNL is our leader in this, so we could bring BSNL along with the galaxy of the Indian companies to partner with the local companies to bring in the BharatNet sort of project for your countries. We have the technologies, and those technologies can be transferred also to the countries wherever required, and so that you will, be a net gainer out of the project. I believe that kind of initiation comes from different countries in ASEAN to us. We will take it forward, and we even why we go for G7 is sometimes is the technology Indian companies have. Then sometimes it is for the funding. Now, India has a $1 billion line of credit available for ASEAN, which is not used, and it can be increased if required. So I believe the countries should look forward to using this cheap funding. Yes, everybody has got money, but everybody is also short of money. So we could always use in extra funding. So I believe that's how we can work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite His Excellencies, Mr. Ravikant, Member, Telecom Commission, Vice Minister of Ministry of Communications of India, goes to the stage for concluding remarks. Please.
Good morning to everyone. Excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are at the conclusion of this 2 days ICT Expo. I am just remembering the remarks of Ambassador of India, which he has given yesterday in his speech. That was the business of trust. We hope in near future, definitely we'll work on it so that a trust should be developed between India and ASEAN countries for sharing the technology, for sharing the skill also. You have seen during last 2 days session, India is having indigenous technology, rugged technology, which can work in the same topology as we are having in India in the same conditions. Moreover, we are having skilled manpower. We can train the people. India is also having the line of credit has been opened by the Honorable Prime Minister of $1 billion US. So I request all ASEAN countries to take it forward so that technologies transfer can be taken place. As it has been discussed since yesterday, G7 issues are coming. India is the company which is always ready that technology should be transferred so that footing of that country can be more stronger in their own country. They can develop, India is having R&D through CDOT, which is one of the leading R&D segment in the government of India, whether it is software, whether it is a transmission equipment. We are having leading players in OFC, in transmission media equipments. So definitely I hope these 2 days ITC investment forum, through ITC investment forum, things will be more profitable to both the countries. One thing is common, cooperation in the field of ICT technology, R&D, standards, product and development, and deployment. Cybersecurity and regulations are also field where India and ASEAN countries can work together, and we can exchange their views and we can go forward. So on behalf of Government of India, I would like to thank Excellencies and dignitaries from Vietnam, the host of Vietnam ICT Investment Forum, and also this event. Cambodian for sharing vision of digital connectivity, and Excellencies Under Secretary of Laos, and all the participants during these informative sessions. I am sure we will work together to achieve digital economy through 4G and 5G and related technology for social transformation. Once again, I would like to thank you all to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellencies, Mr. Ravikant. Coming next, I would like to invite Mr. Sharma Ghosh, Chairman TPC, Mr. Amit Yadav, Joint Secretary, Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications of India, and Mr. Phan Thao Nguyen, Director General, International Cooperation Department, Ministry of Information and Communications of Vietnam, go to the stage for the valedictory sections, please.
A very good morning to all of you. It's very interesting to find that the age profile of the audience today has changed. We have the younger generation who will take forward this new technology in the years to come. As you know, one famous playwright had said, there are 7 stages in the life of a man. One of the stages is the activist stage. The activist stage is coming from the youth. And I remember when I was your age, one of the things, particularly in the area where I came from, Bengal in India, was I can forget my name, but I will not forget the name of Vietnam. Uncle Ho was a very popular figure even then in India, and he was looked upon as an iconic figure. We all remember him, and we will be very happy to cooperate with Vietnam to carry the new technology forward. I was last here about more than 15 years ago, and I feel there are significant changes which have come about in the development of this country. And it is extremely heartening to find that absorption of technology is going on and will go on forward. What is the takeaway from these 2 days event? What are the lessons that we have?
I find if one of the theme was how do we move to Industrial Revolution 4, there is a large number of technologies which have been discussed, from digital technology to 5G to broadband and setting up of smart cities. As you know, one famous economist had said, any new major innovation, the past 3 innovations were major, they are like gales of creative destruction. This is what Peter Schumpeter had said. They are gales of creative destruction. So there will be disruption. But the interesting thing is, when you are working on the frontiers of technology, this will lead to transformation. This will lead to growth, and this will give an accelerated development. Smart cities will revolutionize living in the cities. And as His Excellency from Cambodia brought out, the challenge would be to take it to the villages. And we have already taken initial steps for doing so. All these transformation will have impact in the countries, but the interesting feature is they are organically growing. And the other interesting feature is a latecomer can leapfrog technology, and you can move faster than what the historical development has been. Therefore, although it is disruptive, it is also organically growing, and it also leaves hope for the newcomer to leapfrog the technologies. I believe Singapore is already dismantling the 2G infrastructure because they have moved to 4G and beyond. So there will be shake-up in all the sectors, but if we become smarter, do we also become more vulnerable? Vulnerable to cyber attacks. As my friend in the earlier panel discussion pointed out, that Estonia, about 20 years ago, was known as the smartest country in the world. But it was practically brought to a standstill because of cyber attacks. So it is very essential that we are sensitive to this technology. Is really a little bit of a double-edged technology. You must secure your network, your data, because data is being used liberally for all walks of life, including elections. So it can affect the system of government also. So the ecosystem of cybersecurity is also very important, and we have in India developed emergency response system for cyber attacks, which covers pan-India coverage. We are having these expos and events so that the Indian telecom equipment manufacturers, the software industry, can showcase their capabilities and interact with the participant countries and provide them guidance, as my esteemed colleague, Mr. Ravikant, Member Technology, pointed out. There is not only sharing, but there is transfer of technology, there is skill development. So it is a total solution where the country's capability is built up. We have had business-to-business discussions. More will take place. We hope they will lead to further cooperation and development. I also would like to thank the government of Vietnam and the Vietnam ICT Investment Forum, particularly His Excellency, Mr. Phan Tham, the Vice Minister of Information and Communication of Vietnam, Director Phan Thao Nguyen, the DG of International Cooperation, Department of MIC, under whom this forum comes, and we from TEPC, along with our government, interacted with the forum and jointly convened this. I would also like to thank His Excellency the Undersecretary of Cambodia and the DG of Telecom and IT Promotion Council of Laos for their presence here. And I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank the Government of India and the Government of Vietnam for helping us in organizing this event. All companies who participated have received excellent cooperation, and I hope we will take this forward, and we will be certainly encouraged to revisit Hanoi next year to organize a similar conference to further promote the relationships that have been established. I would therefore like to thank also my colleagues in TEPC who have worked very hard along with the forum to organize this conference. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ravi Kant, member of the Communication Commission, Ministry of Communication, India. Mr. Saman Ghosh, Chairman of TEPC. Mr. Saw Putavut, Under Secretary of State, Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication, Kingdom of Cambodia. Distinguished guests, the friends, students, and all speakers and panelists have joined us so far. So we just finished today working, and we also discussed many updated issues on technologies. The topic we discussed over the last 2 days, I think that was a very useful and very hot topic that we face, and we have to resolve it in order to promote the ICT development in each country. The topic we cover, we also talk about the trend of industry revolution 4.0, and we also talk a lot of things about the Internet of Things, IoT. We also mentioned the broadband infrastructure. Broadband infrastructure is very important for the ICT development of every country. And in which we also mentioned a lot of things about the broadband infrastructure, including, of course, the 4G services. And now we also see the chance to move from 4G to 5G services. I think that we also discussed how we can afford the future development of the ICT sector. And of course, we, in this forum, we also mentioned about how to connect the unconnected era. I think that it's a very important thing to narrow the gap, the digital gap between the rural and urban era. We cannot go far, and we want to go far, and we do not want to leave anyone behind us. So we do see that we also discussed a lot of cooperation opportunity between the two countries, between the industry between two countries in India and Vietnam. So we also very happy to receive many ambassadors from many countries to join with us, and especially the ambassador from ASEAN country. Now ASEAN, we are the one community, so we consider the ASEAN the one family, and we would like to have a good partnership with the Indian government, especially in the ICT sector. So I would like to thank the exhibitor, the company, the enterprise from both two countries, from India and from Vietnam. The booth, I think that you demonstrate very good solution and method, and also can bring many potential area of cooperation between two countries. So I do think that we have done very good job in the past 2 days. And our Vietnam ICT Investment Forum, as well as India ASEAN ICT Expo, has a great success. So taking this opportunity, I would like to thank the ministries of communication of India and TEPC, and of course the government of India have worked with us to organize this forum and organize a successful the exhibition between two countries. I also would like to thank all the distinguished guests, all the speakers, and all the panelists enjoyed us so far. And of course, I would like to thank our counterparts, come from the Kingdom of Cambodia and come from the Laos and other ASEAN countries. And as a saying, we just mentioned in the film you saw yesterday, of course, we would like to go far in the ICT sector, and we would like to go together with all our partners from ASEAN community, and especially from the India. So we do hope that for the next years, we will continue the exhibition or forum, so something kind of that, like with the chairman of TEPC also mentioned. And once again, I would like to thank you all and wish you have success, good health, and good success in the business in the future. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. It's my privilege and honor to be here for the concluding session and the concluding remarks for this twin event of Vietnam ICT Investment Forum 2018, along with India ASEAN ICT Expo 2018. We've come to Vietnam. Our Prime Minister has said, look east and act east. And as part of that Act East, we are here. We've come here to learn. We've come here to interact. We've come here to experience. And we have come here to do business. And I can say with satisfaction that the small baby steps have been taken. We need to now move from the small baby steps to the next stage. And the presence here from a number of ASEAN countries, especially from the host, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and others, are a testimony that there are interests in the ICT sector, and those interests are for the citizen, for the welfare of the country. And how do we translate? Since yesterday, we've had panel discussions. Various speakers have given their views, their understanding, their experiences of where they are and how they have a vision and how they want to transform their countries. And I think so, whether it's in the 5G, whether it is in the smart cities, whether it's in IoT, all part of the Industry 4.0. As we move, we need to work together. We need to work with an aim that the best is available to the citizens, the best is available to the country. And in that sense, we also note that we have more than 40 exhibitors for this expo. We've had around 800 visitors. We have around 70 plus Indian delegation, and we have a large presence of the Ministry of Information and Communication from Vietnam, who have very proudly, which I can say very proudly, have associated, and we have made this 2 days a success. I just want to inform that there have been a lot of queries, a lot of initial discussions, and from India's point of view, from the government point of view, we have two things which we have said earlier, but for the sake of repetition, I'll speak again. We are in the ASEAN countries and especially in the CLMV countries, we have a grant-in-aid scheme, and we also have a line of credit scheme. And for both are for the ICT sector, and for both there are requirements which need to be met, but at the same time, those can be discussed and taken forward. Thank you, everyone, and namaste.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of organization, I announce that the Vietnam ICT Investment Forum 2018 and the India Asian ICT Expo 2018 with the theme Digital Connectivity in the Fourth Industrial Revolution is finished after 2 days working. And now we would like to invite you to have lunch at the restaurant at ground floor. Thank you and goodbye. Trân trọng kính mời tất cả quý vị đại biểu dùng bữa trưa tại nhà hàng ở tầng 1 ạ.